Your brothers and sisters in Islam Net from Norway are establishing a masjid, a dawah center. This masjid, this educational institution will act like a beacon of light, calling the Muslims in Norway back to the essence of Islam. So give generously and Allah Azza wa Jal will give you even more.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters and dear friends. You are on the right channel, it's Hijab channel, not my channel. But we've got a very, very interesting...
I thought, what the hell was this? I mean, this is my channel, you hijacked the introduction. How dare you?
When I'm talking, don't raise your hand below this level, yeah? try again.
I wouldn't want to raise my hand.
Don't raise your hand, because when I raise my hand, it will land somewhere, Okay, guys, so basically we've got a very interesting video. This is a video that we're going to react to, inshallah. I think it's very, very beneficial. It pertains to the family unit, it pertains to divorces, it pertains to a lot of stuff that the Ummah is already going through, of the breakdown of the family unit due to feminism, and God knows what else. So before we start, I want to make some disclaimers. Our intentions, me and Hijab's intentions, is not ill. We do not mean to come here or like put the sisters down. There are sisters, like they say, water is thicker than blood, and iman is thicker than blood is thicker than water, and iman is thicker than blood. So they are our sisters in Islam, and we want the best for them. However, there are things that are said, whoever it's from, our sister or brother, that needs correcting, we have to correct. So we want to do that in a nice manner, inshallah. We want to start off by reacting. It's a 34-minute episode.
Before you do so, can I just add one more point?
Sure, please.
I think that, like nowadays we're seeing more kind of like, I would call it the gender wars. We're kind of living in the age of the gender wars, because the Red Pill movement is its effect on Muslim people, and obviously feminism is its effect on Muslim people as well. And what I think is very important, that before starting these kinds of episodes, as coming from a Muslim paradigm, is that we are attempting to follow the paradigm of Islam.
100%.
The Qur'an, the Sunnah, the 1,400 years worth of tradition. If this is the aim, then we need to kind of like make sure that everything is filtered through that lens. If it's not, then clearly there must be refutation. And I do believe that this video, it definitely satisfies the threshold of refutation.
It does, and we will tell you why it does. And when we do say refutation, at the end of the day, refutation is part of our religion. I mean, we can be refuted, we have been refuted, and we have been refuted, and we will probably continue to be refuted. Yes. We have not, as long as it comes from a sincere place, not from opportunistic people. That's a different story. So let's get into it, inshallah, and you can see for yourself, guys, what we have that concerns not us but the ummah at large.
The environment around polygamy and what happens and the aftermath of it is really toxic and judgy and negative. There's a lot of pressure to react in a certain way. There's a lot of pressure to accept, and that being like that's the automatic position. If you're a Muslim, you accept what God allows, so why are you struggling? Like, what's wrong with you? And it's bringing your faith into question, and I hear it over and over. I love Allah. I love this faith. This is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed. Why is it breaking me? And I think that's what I want to talk about today.
So women are questioning themselves, questioning their level of faith, because it is something that is breaking them. Is that been the experience that you've had with people that you've spoken to and worked with?
I think that it's an opportunity to put a wedge between a woman and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if she thinks that it's being positioned that Allah Azza wa Jal allowed me to do this to you.
Right.
So it's like the spiritual abuse. When something's going to happen and then I say I have this God card that says that I can do it to you. So if you have a problem with it, you have a problem with God.
Right.
Okay.
Just to be just, before the video starts, because we don't want the sisters to be like, you didn't put our beginning bit. In the beginning bit, they make it very categorically clear. They do not have an issue with polygamy itself. It is from Allah. But when we watch the video, we yet to see, they said they wanted to touch upon the way the polygamy is done the wrong way. So we're going to see if they even touch up on that. Just to give that disclaimer, they said that. Now going straight to this.
I think what she said is highly problematic, because she is not giving an example of where there is a miscarriage of justice from the Islamic paradigm. She's just talking plainly about polygamy as an institution, or as a form of marriage that Islam allows. And then she says that she uses key words which I think are quite disturbing, and ones which we've seen being used in feministic circles. And I do believe this is a kind of micro-feminism, where she starts by talking about spiritual abuse. Okay, spiritual abuse. Why is God doing this? The God card. Well, the truth of the matter is this. First and foremost, there are many things in the religion of Islam, in a relationship context, whether symmetrical or asymmetrical, which can cause pain to people, okay, whether it's psychological pain or otherwise, and which are allowed, and which, quite frankly, we're not seeing any noise from individuals that will make videos like this. And I'll give you just one example to kind of make it clearer.
Okay.
Take an example of a woman, and I'm not saying, caveat this, it's asymmetrical, that in other words it can't be done to the other way around, and I'm not saying also that it's like for like. So put these two caveats to the side. If you take a woman, for example, that wants to get married to a man, okay, if she wants to get married to a man, and let's say, for example, the man is from a particular tribe or particular ethnicity or particular race, and her mother is totally against such marriage. Her mother. Maybe she doesn't like the man. Maybe she has even justification from her perspective not to like the man. She feels like this man is no good for her daughter. Yet the daughter decides to proceed with the marriage at the expense of her mother's well-being, let's say, even for the sake of argument, or let's just say at the expense of her mother's happiness, contentment, approval, whatever word you want to use. This actually does happen in society. I think it's more sociologically, potentially more sociologically widespread than polygyny itself. But despite the fact that this is the case, in this scenario, we don't find any of these sisters or anybody in general considering this to be morally aberrational from within Islam or outside of Islam. In other words, if a woman makes a decision which has the net effect of causing some or a severe level of discomfort, anxiety, depression, or any other word that you would like to use, it's not seen as spiritual abuse. It's not seen as spiritual abuse because Islam allows it, despite the mother's wish. I'll give you another example, which is less sociologically prevalent, but still something which the Sharia allows. If a man sees his wife in bed with another man, the Qur'an clearly talks about a process of li'an.
Which actually happened with the Sahaba.
It happens, it's been recorded in history, which basically allows the woman to have the last say and therefore no action to be taken against the woman at all. In other words, there's no retributive justice. He has just seen his wife, let's say, having sex with another man, but there is no retributive justice. Islam allows that. It's no retributive justice on a material level, and Islam allows that despite the fact that it causes pain to men. This is still within the relationship structure, and in this case there is asymmetry.
So let me just get this right, because we really need to drill the
let me give you one more example.
No, but on this one,
okay, right.
A man sees his wife in bed with another man,
yes,
having sex.
Yes.
He goes to the Messenger of Allah, the Sahaba, and says he's said this, and he's expecting, I'm sure, the Prophet to understand.
I'm talking about the Qur'an itself.
No, I know, but just so they understand this, is that the Prophet, peace be upon him, says that I'm going to slash you for slander. Can you imagine, on top of that, adding salt to the wound? And then on top of that, what happens is the ayah comes down saying that they take 4 oaths each, and the last oath will be that Allah's curse be upon them. And this woman actually does that, and she totally...
the point being,
how painful would that be?
It will be very painful, but the point is, it's not spiritual abuse. The reason why it's not using the God card or spiritual abuse, despite the fact that it hurts the man, is simply because Islam allows it.
Exactly.
Now I'll give you a third example, right?
Exactly, that's the point.
The third example, and it's maybe controversial, maybe many people didn't know this, but if, for example, a woman is married to a man, and she divorces him, and then after her iddah is complete, she marries his brother, blood brother. Now that's going to hurt the man. Now obviously the opposite can happen as well, and once again, I'm not claiming it's asymmetrical, but what I'm saying is, despite the fact that it will hurt the man, it doesn't mean it's morally illegitimate.
Or it's spiritual abuse.
It's spiritual abuse.
Yes.
Now it's clearly in the pretext, not even in the subtext of what these women are saying here, that just basically engaging in this act itself is a kind of spiritual abuse.
Exactly.
This is verging on kufr. I'm very sorry to say. To use that kind of language with an institution that Islam has allowed, and she's not talking about the abuse of it, because I've heard this clip more than once.
Yes, they're not.
She's talking about the institution itself.
Yes.
This is verging on kufr. I'm sorry to say. I'm not saying she has fallen into kufr, and I'm not saying she's a kafir. Just be clear.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is verging on kufr, that she is flirting with disbelief by speaking of an institution that the Prophet of Islam himself,
Yes.
he engaged in that. He did it himself, polygamy, with 9 different women. We have clear evidence that some of them were discontented, at least at some point.
Let's come to that.
But despite that, it's not seen as using the God card or spiritual abuse.
Good.
This tone, I believe, is highly problematic.
It is.
And it's totally unfair.
Exactly. Let's carry on so we can just get a full grasp on what's going on here, because I'm still looking for the problematic practice of polygamy, which they were going to talk about.
And I think that's dangerous, especially because we're talking about it not being executed properly. We have the example of the Prophet ﷺ. We know what it's supposed to look like. So in the cases where it doesn't look like that, and the woman has an aversion to it, or she's struggling, or there are conversations that aren't being had, there's support that's missing. There are spaces where she's being shamed and judged and sometimes ostracized by the community for taking issue with it, bullied into making a particular decision or not making a particular decision. We need to talk about that.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's really important that we talk about the fact that these sisters, when it's not executed properly, that they are now trying to manage the trauma of being betrayed, of being lied to, of being deceived. They're now having to manage a completely different dynamic in their marriage, in their family. And then going back to what you said, on top of that, to now be shamed spiritually because there's something wrong with their faith, because they're not just smiling about it and accepting it. It's layer upon layer upon layer of trauma. And like I said right at the beginning, we're not saying that polygamy is wrong. Polygamy is part.
So let's just rewind a bit, okay? So firstly, to me, it's turning into a horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trauma, bullying,
yes,
betrayal. What was the other one she used? Spiritual abuse.
Yeah.
To me, it's just turning into an absolute horror.
Yeah.
Now, I understand. You can come and say to me, actually, it is a horror for a woman. No problem. And nobody said it won't be. We know now. She used, for example, like how the Prophet used to do it. Okay, let's look at how the Prophet ﷺ done it. Do you know that Aisha Anha was coming with she made a food plate and the Sahaba there. Imagine the Prophet sitting with the companions. Yeah, imagine you're in your house with your boys. You're sitting with your boys, yeah, and then your wife comes in and you have a plate of dish unintentionally by your other wife, and she smashes the plate in front of everybody. Bang! She smashes it. You're talking about how the Prophet done it. This is the best. These are our mothers, the best of women to walk this earth. One of them, yeah. She's behaving like this. This thought process of thinking that polygamy is going to be something that's going to be like hunky-dory, rosy. It's not the case. These things can happen. It shows you that if a man gets into this, these things can happen as long as the woman is not transgressing. The point is this. I want to ask a very simple question. What is, because this is again giving a disclaimer, we're not against polygamy. You turned it into a horror movie. How could you not be against it? All these words of like, big words, bullying, etc., etc. Look what you've turned it into. If a sister, her husband was getting into polygamy and she watched this, you would destroy your house. You would be responsible for destroying the house, because let me tell you something. People can easily get manipulated. Okay, especially the society that you're living in. If for example somebody suffers from a trauma, for example, okay, let's suppose a mother lost a child and she goes to a household to get some, for them to console her, and and imagine they added to a burden and said, oh, your child's going to be in hellfire, or your child. Have you aided that, or have you made it easy? Have you took burdens off, or added burdens?
Exactly.
I think, and that's exactly what you're doing. And the point is this. Let me ask a simple question. As men, I'll make it very clear. I've said this publicly and I'll say it again. Okay, every man is polygamous. Any man that says he's not polygamous, he's a liar. So to think that sisters have this envision in their mind, they think that there is one guy out there. Every person practices polygamy or is polygamous within their nature, Muslim or non-Muslim. I want to ask a simple question. Please tell us, because I can easily come and say, okay, tell us the correct way to do it. And if you can tell us the correct way to do it, and if we do it, will you be happy? No. So then what is the discussion at hand?
No, it's a good question, and in fact the Qur'an makes it clear. وَلَن تَسْتَطِيعُوا أَن تَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ النِّسَاءِ وَلَوْ حَرَصْتُمْ فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ فَتَذَرُوهَا كَالْمُعَلَّقَةِ. The Qur'an says you're not going to be able to do justice between your wives, and even if you try. But it doesn't say therefore this is stop doing your spiritual abuse.
Exactly.
It doesn't say, therefore, stop using the God card.
Yeah, what does it say?
And therefore, it says, فَلَا تَمِيلُوا كُلَّ الْمَيْلِ فَتَذَرُوهَا كَمَا. Don't incline so much so you leave the other one hanging.
Yes.
It's giving you practical advice.
Pragmatic.
I'm afraid to say that this conversation here, as you correctly said, you've identified it and characterized it correctly. These women here are actually characterizing an institution with the most negative superlatives, most negative adjectives, with most horrible of context. I'm afraid to say that this is anti-resilience. Like, if you want to get someone tougher and stronger in life, you don't do so by... If polygamy is a difficult thing for women to do. Let's be...
Of course.
You said it yourself. For
it.
Example, what you correctly said is that when, 𝙗𝙪𝙞𝙾 radiallahu anha, she broke the plate. And Nawawi actually comments about this in his sharh. Yeah, he says that this is من التصرفات الغير إرادية, يعني something similar to that. He's saying this is from something that she done which is involuntary actions, and she's not held to account for it, in fact.
Well,
there you go. Look, Islam is a religion of mercy, okay? But having said all of that, to be honest, if you collate all of the examples of where there has been transgressions like this, or there have been mishaps or whatever from the mothers of the believers, of the thousands, of the thousands, you will find a dozen maximum.
Yes.
Yeah. What we're dealing with here is a situation where individuals find it okay to actually hold their husbands, judge, jury, and executioner as hostage to some kind of injustice, perceived injustice they think they're doing to them.
Yes.
There is nothing inherently unjust about being in a polygynous situation.
Yes.
There is as much inherently unjust in being in a polygynous situation as there is of marrying a man who your mother doesn't want you to marry.
Yes.
Even though she's upset.
Yeah.
If you are unhappy at the fact that your husband did something that hurt you, you should also be unhappy with the millions of women out there in the Muslim world who, in some cases, their mother, some cases their father, because as we know, some madhabs don't even need the wali, right? Like the Hanafi madhab and so on, in order for the nikah to be sahih. And other madhabs will remove the wali if he's being unreasonable. So it's conceivable that the father doesn't even get a say, or is removed from the equation when it comes to marriage, and he is very unhappy, but a woman's right is spoken about then. It's not a woman's responsibility.
Exactly.
It's a woman's privilege and her independence. It's not spiritual abuse here.
Exactly.
You see, even if the mother is frail and old and a woman herself, it's not seen as spiritual abuse or traumatic. And how can you as a woman get married and put your mother in such traumatic experiences? This is the kind of consistency that is required if what we're saying here is to moralize something, is to look at the detriments that it causes someone psychologically at the expense of someone else.
Yes.
It seems to be that, number one, they don't really have their morality and their moral theories and compass and order, number one. Number two, sorry to say this, but it does seem to be an inqiyad issue, a submission issue, an istislam issue. It's an issue of submission and iman.
Yes.
If you truly believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you believe in his rulings, I'm sorry to say, and you have full faith in that, and you did what Allah said when he said udkhulu fi silmi kaffa, come into Islam altogether.
Okay, good.
You cannot describe the situation of living in a marriage which potentially you'll be getting all your rights as a first wife in such traumatic fashion.
Yes. Wallahi, polygamy is the most beautiful thing that has been stipulated by Allah, because it lays down protocols how to protect look, this is what I found crazy. As sisters, our dear sisters, you guys are our sisters. Wallahi, we're saying this because we love you guys for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're just trying to make you understand something. Okay, if you want woman empowerment and you care about your co-sisters, polygamy has been sent as a protocol to help defend the rights of the second, third and fourth wife, who in non-Muslim terms, or even should I say some Muslims, men who practice in the wrong way, who have side chicks, mistresses and girlfriends. Allah stipulated that if the man wants to go and do that, he does it in the right way by honoring her, speaking to her father, doing the marriage, giving her mahr, announcing the marriage, not hidden. You should be at the forefront of defending this, because as a non-Muslim woman, a man, if he was watching this, I'll say this is horror movie. This is horror. This is polygamy. This is a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
Anti-dawah.
I would say this is
anti-dawah.
Yes, this is, and actually, you know what? It'll be spiritual abuse on the person that's watching it. Yes, because they might want to come to Islam and they'll think, you know what? They'll say, you know what? This is
she doesn't consider
you spiritually bankrupted me. I'm finished. No. Let's be honest. Let's carry on.
You into liking this and responding and fitting into what you need to fit into, or else there's something wrong with you. And I think on the, for a woman who identifies as practicing and religious, Okay, some people are in a position where they don't want to talk to a mental health professional and they don't want, so let's look for answers in the deen, because this is something that the religion brought, so I need to find answers there. And when you start to search and see, if you look up polygamy in Arabic and in English, and you want to see what the scholarship have to say about it, the attitude is less than helpful. There is a little bit of giggle culture. Yeah, haha, the women get jealous. And it's not being taken seriously.
No.
And you realize that, okay, there is no one in the religious context who has my back on this. In fact, the way that they're talking about it, it's very surface level, and it stops at this is actually allowed in the religion. And of course, you know, the men have to be just, and of course, but we're not talking about it seriously. There's no nuance. There is no consideration for the woman's position besides, you know, sister, you have to be patient, because if a woman stepped out on her marriage, the vicious, poisonous, throw her out and get he could spit on camera. You know, but in a man's position, as long as we get a paper from the mosque and we cover it up.
I think what she said in the beginning there was extremely dangerous. And she says that, well, if you do, I'm paraphrasing, but if you do a search in English or in Arabic, you'll find that it's not helpful, and that there's a giggle culture and all these kind of things. Giving us the impression that she's already done this work, and that she's looked at all of the resources that in English that are available, and all the resources that are in Arabic that are available in the Islamic tradition. Because if we talk about scholarship, we're not talking about the last 20 or 30 years. We are talking about the last 1,400 years. We are and by the way, that would include Aisha and the mothers of the believers. That would include the female scholars, which she has forgotten about, quite frankly, in her tirade. But what I'm saying here is, to put people away from the religious discourse in favor of something else, if not deviance, then what is it?
No, this is very dangerous, because the thing is, what's being told is this: Islamically, we're bankrupt. There's nothing to offer here.
Exactly.
And then she talks about coach. What did she mention in the beginning about coaching? Did she say, or something like therapy or something along those lines? I mean, what do you want us to do? Go to the non-Muslims? I mean, yes, you can. There's nothing wrong with it if you're going for certain issues. But what you've done is you've emptied, like, as if Islam has nothing to offer on this matter.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's finished. Islam, don't turn to Islam.
Is the plea of psychological resources?
Yes, it has nothing to offer. Like, as if Allah, the Qur'an, the Sunnah, there's nothing to offer.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have to go to these therapists, whoever they are. God knows. One of them told me a story that sister was going through something. She went to this therapist, this non-Muslim therapist, and you know what they said to her? Explore your sexuality, go sleep around. Yeah, let's go to these people. They're going to come.
Go to individuals that are not.
What do you think they're going to say to you, my dear sister? Let's suppose your husband is going through, is getting married, a second wife. Yeah, you go to a therapist, and you say to the therapist, "My husband got married again." What do you think she's going to say? Oh, she's going to give you ways of dealing with it? No, they're going to give you ways of destroying it. Yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, as a Muslim woman, if you are so, I'll be honest with you, I see anger in your eyes. Like my sister, if you're
to be fair, it can be the case that you have a neutral therapist that won't get involved in moral issues.
No problem.
But no, you're right. The point stands, which is that she is clearly pushing people away from the religious discourse.
No, of course, not only that.
She is offering them. She's saying that this does not have the resources for your psychological concerns,
which is dangerous. The thing is, bro, if she as a Muslim,
it's more than dangerous.
These are three sisters who are observing the hijab. They are believing women who fear Allah. We have to believe they fear Allah. If they are coming and saying this, Aki, what am I going to expect from a non-Muslim woman? If the believing women are coming and giving our sisters this advice, I'm so sorry. I'm not saying they intentionally have a malicious intent. I do not mean that. But if you guys can be so, it's an emotional statement. I'm sorry, I've not one Qur'an Sunnah. I've heard emotional statements. And if you're going to come,
they don't mention the Qur'an Sunnah at all.
Exactly.
In this video.
Okay.
The whole 35 minutes.
If that's the case, if you guys are mentioning this as sisters, imagine a co-sister coming to you guys and thinking, hijabi, Muslim, believing. What advice are you going to give me? My husband got a second wife. I swear to God, that woman will leave the meeting, blackmailing her husband, probably using the kids against her. He will do all kinds of stuff. Why? Because she will say, like they said, because you've done this to me, and spiritual abuse and bullying.
Exactly.
They're going to leave that meeting.
Yes. This is
devastated.
The thing is, the issue is,
it's very dangerous.
It gets worse when she starts saying that the scholars or whoever is religious clergymen, they say, let's be patient, and she says that's only patience.
Why not patience?
Patience is one of the deepest.
Why not patience?
Patience is one of the most deep and important
parts of Islam.
Aspects of the religion of Islam.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that if someone is giving you the advice which Allah gives you in the Qur'an, which is وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, literally وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, exhort one another to patience, and you're ridiculing them.
And wallahi,
no, you're ridiculing them on the basis that they are doing exactly what the Qur'an tells them to do by the word. And so, do you think you're following the Qur'an or your own desires?
Wallahi, let me tell you something. Like Allah says in the Qur'an, فَإِنَّ مَا الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَا الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Yeah? Aki, wallahi, when Allah says something, verily with hardship comes ease. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Wallahi, if a sister comes to me and says, my husband got married again, I'll ask her some basic questions. Sister, does he pray? Yes. Does he practice? Good. Is he holistically, in totality, is he a good guy? Yes. Does he provide? Does he, all this kind of stuff, pays a bit, etc. Stay with them, sister. Wallahi al-azim. You go, these sisters, they listen to their friends, these friends, okay? Well, he did that to you. Please shut up. Yeah, don't act like your husband's not polygamous. Don't act like your husband is not doing it in either, we hope he does it in the halal way or in the haram way. Yeah, stop acting like your husband, every man is polygamous. You're going to destroy that house. Sister, you're going to believe it and destroy your house. And, guess Ali, what? Those friends are not going to be there for you. I promise you. The reason I'm saying is this. You get in a hype and you believe these sisters, etc. Now, they can say something very easily.
No, you're right.
And please, they're going to come and say, you guys are men. It's easy for you to say, mashallah, like the giggle culture.
Yeah,
no problem. Check this out. Check this out. No problem. Check this out, bro. Yeah. Okay. What does Allah say that we as men have to do? We're the maintainers and the protectors. No problem. That means when a thief comes to the house, brother, am I sending my wife or am I going?
No, you're going yourself.
Am I the maintainer? I pay for the bill, electricity, gas, water.
I don't know about that. I think you're the kind of guy that, you know.
Alhamdulillah, I try my best.
No, you don't do this.
Alhamdulillah.
Giggle culture for the
Alhamdulillah, my wife is watching this. Yeah. She knows, wallahi, I do not like, I tell her, she loves being a mother. It's the best thing. Wallahi, I see happiness in that. In her eyes when she's with our kids. Yeah. The point is this, bro. On top of that, add this. When a war happens, what's happening in Ukraine? Yeah. What's happening, bro? Even the transgender women are being stopped. No. You're a man now. Yeah. I'm gonna ask a simple question, bro. If we are called, let's say if a war happens, argument's sake, let's say, yeah, and we attend. Do you love going to war?
Me personally?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
You're asking the wrong guy.
No. One second. Do you look forward to going to war?
No one will.
Okay. Yeah. Do you look forward to going and saying my limb might come off?
No.
Actually, you know what? I might not come home. Actually, you know what? No, 1 second. Actually, forget the arm getting.
I'm with you, Ali.
Okay, imagine you don't even come home at all, and imagine the thought. For every man, we have ghira. Yeah. Imagine your wife might go if I pass away, my wife's gonna go marry someone else. Which one's worse? You have a husband that has another wife, but he's still in your life and your kid's life. But compared to what we're gonna go through when we go to war, the chance of being killed. Number 2, not returning home. Can I come and say, but this is not fair, man. This is spiritual abuse, man. My wife will be the first one to say, get out there and defend.
It's true.
Yallah.
It's true.
Yallah. Am I going to complain? We accept what Allah has legislated for us, which is much harder, I'll be honest with you, than polygamy, because we're going to end up dying or get our limbs chopped in some instances. Then how can you come here and use these kind of words? Yeah.
I think what you said in this... You're getting very emotional.
I will like it because you know why? You know why, bro? It hurts me to see the breakdown of the family unit.
I get that.
It's not a joke.
But what I will say is this, bro. It's like, honestly, yeah. One thing you did say, which is I think completely true, yeah, is that individuals like Sister Sumaya here, yeah, she will give advice to other sisters. As she would in the end of this episode, we'll see that, you know, sometimes the individual is more important than the whole, because the individual. She will say it in her own articulation. But basically indirecting the advice for divorce, and we've already dealt with this in previous episodes. That she does this quite often. It seems like it's her favorite type of advice.
It's dangerous.
But then she is not going to be there monetarily or otherwise for the sister that is going to be stuck with I don't know how many children, even if she's alone, without any. She's not going to be there to assist, to help, sorry to say, to physically assist, to sexually satisfy. You don't have the facility to deal with all of that, to psychologically be a companion for that individual. And you don't even want or have told your people that are listening to this, who are very impressionable and probably going through a very difficult situation. You haven't even told them. You haven't gone as far as to even tell them that in fact they're in for a long period of grieving and heartbreak.
Exactly.
Why don't you tell them about the fact that if you leave and if you try and break your home, not only will you be grieving, your children will be grieving. There'll be heartbreak everywhere.
Bro, look at the studies on single parent homes. We're not blaming the mother. What we're saying is in single mother homes, bro, it destroys the family unit, bro. Especially the children. How could someone be so selfish? And look, I don't know if these sisters have gone through it personally themselves, but if they have or they haven't, if they have, bro, it is dangerous for you to use something which you may have disliked, or let's suppose arguments that it happened the wrong way, he did it the wrong way, then you to come and use that bitterness to take it out on the whole ummah, because now what you're doing is you're giving advice to these sisters based on something that you lived through, which was, let's say, done the wrong way. Okay, let's suppose that polygamy that your husband done was the wrong way, and now you're out bitter, hurt, and you are channeling that energy in such a way that it is destroying the family unit, the household. It's irresponsible behavior.
Absolutely. Let's see what else they are saying.
Again, I am hearing from sisters who come crying, distraught, distressed, on the floor. My husband has married behind my back. Or my husband is, has told me that he wants to get married. And I don't
Do you know what gets me though? What is a man who does that expecting?
I think he's expecting? This is my honest opinion, and this is just my opinion. We're not sheikhs here. We're not saying, this is just a discussion. I believe a lot of men who go and do it in that way, in the wrong way, and there are going to be people that are going to be saying, but you know what, sheikh so and so, and Islamically, you don't have to tell your wife. But anyway, that's a side point. Let's talk morally. You love someone, you would.
You see what she's done here.
Yes.
It was a very subtle thing, very nuanced thing, but I think we both saw what happened here.
Yes.
Sheikh so and so said something, but morally.
Yeah, so basically what the sheikh saying is immoral, and the moral thing to do is this.
No, the issue is deep, because
Yes.
what are we saying that morality is to be found outside of the fatwa framework?
Yes.
Are we saying now morality is to be found outside of the religious framework?
Yes.
And do you know how she just defined it? She said that if you love your wife, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
No, but that's not how we define our morality.
Exactly.
In other words, we don't decide what is right and wrong based on the empathetic love that we have for someone. In fact, someone called Paul Bloom wrote a book called Against Empathy.
Yeah.
And in that book, he actually makes a very strong argument against using empathy as a means of moralizing certain morality. For example, he says, if I'll give you an example, he doesn't use this, but I'll use it. There was this young girl that got lost. Her name is
Madeline.
Madeline. Yeah. Madeline got lost. She was a white girl that got lost. And obviously, it's a tragic situation. Yeah. But the fact that she was on the newspapers and that she was on the front headlines, all the kind of things, it made us empathize with her.
Yep.
But the fact of the matter is that girls are being human trafficked. They are being sold into slavery, and on a monthly basis from all kinds of ethnic backgrounds, not just white, Caucasian girls. The truth of the matter is this: is that we have a disproportionate consideration for Madeline because we have been exposed to her story.
Yes.
We haven't been exposed to all these other stories.
Exactly.
In other words, we've been made to empathize with her. Paul Bloom, therefore, he makes the argument that if we were to use empathy as a means to try and moralize or generalize moralities, then it will be innumerate, it will be discriminatory, and it will be problematic for the reasons aforementioned. So when women, sorry to say men and women, it's not just a woman thing, but women like this, for example, who are talking about polygamy and sharing their anecdotal experiences and quote-unquote traumas, yes, when they are talking about these matters, and then they are forcing an empathetic response, or they are, let's say, generating an empathetic response from other women, what becomes blurred are the moral guidelines. Morality becomes described and defined as per the emotional feelings of that individual. How could he make you feel like that? How can someone who truly loves you do something which hurts you like that? Morality becomes defined in the way that she's just detailed. If you love someone, in conditional terms, if you love someone, why would you do such a thing to hurt them? Because doing so, according to her, would be immoral. But that formulation of morality, number one, is unsubstantiated in the academic literature. Number two, is actually refuted in the academic literature, as mentioned in the book Against Empathy. Is an interesting starting point.
Okay.
And thirdly, it's totally un-Islamic from an Islamic perspective.
But we don't need to. But why are you looking?
So what? No, I'm just saying that. All I'm saying here is that if you're saying we have a paradigm, which the paradigm is the paradigm of morality, and then you have the paradigm of fatwa, or what this sheikh said this, or this sheikh said that. Why are you exploring a paradigm outside of the paradigm of Islam if indeed you truly believe the paradigm of Islam?
Unless you're not.
And the Qur'an actually makes mention of this. أَمْ شَرَعُ لَهُم مِنَ الدِّينِ مَا لَمْ يَأْذَنْ بِهِ اللَّهُ. Have they been given permission, which Allah has not given them permission for? Have they created legislation which Allah has not given them permission for? So this is legislation that is coming outside of the Islamic paradigm. This is the 𝙒𝙪𝙤, this is the danger. This is the danger of speaking without knowledge, as they are. This is the danger of using emotional judgment. This is the danger of speaking on camera on issues that can break households and allow children who, quite frankly, women like this with all selfishness, egoism, I don't think are very concerned about the children. They mentioned them in the end very passingly. But putting children in a situation of disadvantage, sociological disadvantage, because you're not encouraging women to be resilient on a thing that Allah allowed and the Prophet practiced. Instead, you're giving them all ammunition. With the most dangerous of wording.
Lethal ammunition.
Lethal ammunition. With micro-feministic
tendencies.
Yes. Absolutely, no doubt about it. In fact, they are more, in my opinion, Wallahi, uqsimu billahi al-azim, and Allah is my witness, to conservative or traditionalist women, these women here are more dangerous than any feminist.
You know why? You know why?
Because they creep in.
No, you know why? You know why? Because when a Muslim woman is watching a non-Muslim, they'll say, well, they're not Muslim, they don't understand how Islam works, etc. When they're watching a group of our sisters who are in hijab, who are using some Islamic terminologies, they are more prone to take it.
Absolutely.
And that is what danger is. And let's not look far, bro. When we're talking about empathy and stuff like that,
Absolutely.
Didn't companions have to fight their own family members who are blood, who they loved?
Allahu Akbar.
Did they not have to do that?
Abu Bakr said, if I saw you in the battlefield, I was trying to find you in the battlefield. To his son.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Didn't know alayhi salam, we don't need to look for. Didn't know alayhi salam say, oh Allah, did you not say you're going to save my family? He loved his son. He wants his son to be saved. What did Allah say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rebuked Nuh alayhi salam. And he said, oh no, that your family is who? The believers. Not blood. Don't think your blood son. He loved his son. He was upset. He was crying that, like the fact that he was drowned. But Allah had to remind him to take the naql over the aql. Because if you go to the aql, what does aql say? I love him. Well, the person, Sahaba, had to fight in a battle the people that they loved. Let's carry on.
And this is a common occurrence. And quite frankly, people that convert to Islam, like yourself, you had to deal with. People like yourself on a daily basis have to deal with unruly and cantankerous, rambunctious individuals who make their life hell. And they're doing it for the sake of Allah.
And we love them.
Which is why, quite frankly, we'll find a lot of people who do practice polygamy are people from the revert community, because they have decided to strip away all the cultural baggage. They have decided not to listen to this kind of advice.
Wallahi, I'm so sorry. I see more revert sisters, wallahi,
it's true,
more humble when it comes to this thing.
No doubt about it.
And I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to get into it, man. Let's just see what else they have to say.
And maybe the answer won't be clear immediately, and you need time. You want to try it out. You want to see how it goes. You need the flexibility. You need time to make your decision. I think the second thing is talking to the women.
See how she addresses women in a way that as if they can just throw talaq on the man. What do you mean make your decision?
Alhamdulillah.
Your only decision you have to make is to ask your husband or go to a Sharia council and follow the procedure. You do not have the same rights as a man. The assumption of equality is almost clear in her subtext. What do you mean you make your decision? It's not, you cannot wake up in the morning and make a decision. It doesn't work like that. There are many things at play, and there are many stakeholders at play. I feel like what she's doing here is she's removing all the Islamic apparatus, and she's trying to create a system of equality. Even if it wasn't an English law, she would have to go to the solicitors, and she'd have to file for certain things. She'd have to negotiate certain matters. It's this false illusion that she can do what she wants.
Let's assume the best she means the choice of going the khula.
Is about this. You can, just like you said, make a choice to enter, to say, you know what, I'm down with this, I'm cool with it, I want to come into the picture of a family already and enter. You need to be educating yourself about what that's going to entail. You need to be realistic about what that's going to mean. You need to be honest about what you're actually looking for and what you're actually expecting. I don't think the old bait and switch is just going to cause trouble. I'm cool to renounce my rights. I don't need financial support. I am going to be easy. I'm not going to disrupt anything. I just need, But are you being honest about what that's going to mean? And you're cool with it. First wife is being bullied, and I've heard this multiple times. In particular cultures, it's more emphasized than others. You can't tell your family I did this. You not only have to handle the pain, but you have to keep it a secret, because if you tell your parents that I did this, we know it's going to kick off.
Okay, so what's the problem with that?
Okay, one second. All right, let me get this right. Okay, look, let's make it very simple and clear.
Yeah.
Okay, I want, you know what I want from our sisters? Honesty talk. Okay, please can you do an episode? Yeah, and in that episode, please can you tell us brothers? Wallahi, we want to know. I want to know. Please tell us the right way to do. I'm going to do it the right way. Yeah, not that I'm saying I'm intending on doing it, but what I'm saying is that please tell us, men, what is the right way to go about it without all the drama of our wife and her not telling her parents, etc. Just go away from all of that. Please can you tell us how you sisters or the females will be happy for us to practice polygamy in the correct manner? Please tell us. I bet you will not be doing that episode because you do not believe there is a correct way. The best way of polygamy for you guys is no polygamy. That's what it is. Best polygamy, no polygamy. That's the issue here. And what did she say? She said about being bullied. Okay, look, bro, this is the hypocrisy that I see. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Wallahi, let me tell you something, yeah? Let's go to a brother, yeah? Get the brother and go to his in-laws and say, what kind of brother is this? You like this? Yes, he's good to my daughter. He provides. He's very good. He helps us. Okay, good. Go and ask the same family and say, you know what? You know your son-in-law, yeah, he got a second wife. I've never seen any good in him. La ilaha illallah. What happened 2 seconds, brother? A minute ago, he was the best guy. Because of polygamy? Bro, wallahi. This is why the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, glad tidings to the strangers. They have become strangers, Aki. For them to practice something which is from the sunnah, and I'm talking about brothers who are good to their wives, who are just to their wives, who provide for their wives. I'm talking about these men. I'm not talking about these guys who do not pray, don't practice, they cheat, I'm not talking about them. These kind of men who are practicing are being shunned. They've been ostracized to you're making them feel. And then on top of that, of course, he's going to come and tell you not to tell your family because your family sees this as something ugly, as something evil. And guess what? You're probably your own dad practices polygamy. Yes, wallahi, uqsum billah. The same dad practices polygamy. Yes, he practices it, but when his son-in-law does it, that's why I did an interview one brother. He said, would you want that for your daughter? I said, Haki, how can I stand in front of Allah and say I want it? Every man is polygamous by their nature, yeah? How can I come and say I might do it, but for my daughter, la. Wallahi, like the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, if Fatima was to steal, I'll cut her hand. We don't roll with hypocrisy. One rule for me, another rule for my daughter. No. If my daughter is happy, she's happy with it, I'll tell her, here's the pros and cons, etc. I've done it. I will not come and say he's a bad guy, he's an evil guy. This is something from the deen. How are you making it something horror, evil, bullying, spiritual abuse, betrayal, lie? Wallahi, this is like paranormal activity.
Yes, absolutely.
Wallahi, it's like, you know the movie Saw?
Yeah.
That's what you turned it into.
She has.
In a moral Islamic manner.
With
ihsan. In a humane manner.
Seeing that the women are actually human beings. They're not property. They're not just nothing. They have got souls. They have got emotions. They have got thoughts. They have got wants. They've got desires. And that's okay for them to have. Right? I think many of us, women and men, have yet to even fully accepted that that's the case. That a woman, you're dealing with a whole person.
Okay, no problem. You're dealing with a whole person too. Is your husband a whole person? Does he have desires and emotions? Wallah is ajib. Look, we understand, we accept our sisters, we accept the Muslim woman with her true nature. You are hypergamous by your nature. You look for a man who is taller than you, who can provide security, who can provide for you, who can do many things, who's more maybe a leader. You look for these properties. That's what your nature inherently has. Do we complain about it? No, we try to be that best person that we can so you can select us. Yeah? Why is it that when it comes to our nature, which is a polygamous nature, we are shunned? Why is the double standards? We accept you with your hypergamous nature, no problem. Why do you not accept us with the polygamous nature? Why are we shunned? Why are we ostracized? Why am I guilty, bro? You know what, bro? Did I choose to be polygamous? Did I choose to have this desires? No, Allah created me like that. Go and take it out. Now, if I say this, they're going to say, spiritual abuse. Now using the God card. Well, you're finished. I'm asking a simple question.
I think being a man nowadays is spiritual abuse.
Okay, it's finished. Wallah, you can't.
That's good news for you.
You can't. The point here is this, yeah? No man, let me tell you something, wallahi, okay, yeah? Okay, let me tell you something, yeah? No man, yeah? Look, I have a wife. I love my wife. I do not wake up one day and go, let me practice polygamy and let me destroy her. Okay, what the hell are you talking about? No man wakes up and says, let me break my family, let me make my wife upset. No, what we're saying is inherently as men, we are polygamous by our nature. Okay, some choose to practice it. Most want to practice it, they can't because of many other reasons. But the point is, we are all polygamous via our nature. We do not do this to hurt our families. Why would I wake up one day and destroy my whole family? No. Understand that that's within our nature. Okay, and if we was to go about it and do it the right way, which you guys haven't given us an option, what is the right way? Nothing. Why are we to blame? Why are we made to be evil? The question I'm asking is this: why does a good Muslim man who wants to practice polygamy become bad? Please tell me what makes him bad in a split-second decision of wanting to get a co-wife. Please tell me, why is he evil? Because you are brainwashed to the current standards of monogamy. Yes, monogamy is a new concept. It's a new phenomena. Not from day Adam, it's been polygamy. That is the norm. You've been watching too much Hollywood, Bollywood, and all these kind of movies that's made you to believe one man, one woman. And guess what? Most women that's watching this will know. Okay, and I'll bet anybody you have in one moment or time, practicing or non-practicing, caught your husband or your boyfriend speaking to another girl or something. Why are men doing this? Well, if there was a study done, and if the study showed that every woman on planet Earth wanted a Gucci bag, I would have to say to myself, there is inherently something within a woman that loves a Gucci bag. Why do they like it? Because it's cross-culturally across the globe. They have this phenomena.
I think you're making a good point.
Just to finish on this, the point is this: I would have to come and say, okay, there is something wired within a woman's brain that she likes a Gucci bag. I would have to accept that reality, and be like, okay, how do we deal with it? Okay, it's fine. Why is it that when a man wants to practice polygamy in a right way, you look at all the stuff that you've said, and then how could a man come to you and not be like, after all the bullying, all the words you used, which man in their right mind will open up to you and say, look, I want to get a second wife? Which man?
Good point. And I would say, look, there's something else I would add to this, which is that you mentioned that this has been going on cross-culturally, historically. Actually, I think from what I remember, Britannica University Encyclopedia, it said 85 to 95% of world civilizations before the current age, i.e. the last 100 years, were permitted polygyny. So if it's the case,
so they all do practicing spiritual abuse.
No, it's what I'm saying here. Good. It's what I'm saying is here. If this is a normal psychological reaction, in other words, to consider this to be spiritual abuse, to consider this, then we should have seen a wealth of historical evidence from thousands of years up until the present age. We should have seen a wealth of historical information, testimonials from women, all considering it to be, in your words, traumatic, abusive, using the God card, bullying, laying on the street and pretending to wanting to commit suicide ideation,
dropped on the floor,
all those things, all those kind of wordings that you're using. We simply don't have any historical evidence in 1,400 years to indicate anything more than the fact that yes, this did cause, and we have to be very honest and just, it does cause and did cause historically levels of jealousy, anxiety, anger, frustration, all kinds of discomfort for women, but not to the level what they are describing here. This kind of testimonial here is absent in the historical record, considering the fact that even non-Muslim societies were practicing these kind of things. Even today, I mean, you go to Nigeria. I've just been to Nigeria.
Forget Nigeria,
the Christian people were practicing it
forget
themselves.
Christian. Non-Muslims today in the West are practicing it.
Thank you very
much. What dream are we living in, man?
I don't know.
Non-Muslim,
I actually don't know.
Non-Muslim men are practicing it.
Yes, they are.
Wallahi, you got look, mistresses, girlfriends, they are doing it like it's happy days.
Or serial monogamous.
Yes, both serial monogamous. Why are they serial monogamous? Why is Hugh Hefner and Donald Trump serial monogamous? Because they're looking and they're thinking their wife has reached 40, 45 years old, 50 years old, cannot produce kids anymore, and biologically, we're not having a go at her. Then the thing is here is that, hold on a second, they're thinking if I go and tell her about a second, they're like, okay, I'll divorce her. These women end up dying along with a cat. That's the reality, because a man's biology, he can carry on. So the thing is, they're thinking, okay, I'll divorce her and go get a new model. And that is what's happening. And guess what? They are practicing polygamy. What they've done is in the wrong way by leaving one wife who's given his life, breaking her. That's what you call breaking, because he is abandoning her.
That's the worst kind of pain.
Can you imagine? Let me tell you something. A man, another issue that sisters have is this: they think that we love the way they love. When a woman loves one person, she's bound to, because she's wide like that. She loves one man. The moment she falls out of loving one man, she tends to start her divorce period, long time, 2 years. So some brothers come and say, oh, my wife divorced me, I moved on fast. It's like, brother, that divorce happened 2 years ago, you're sleeping. Yeah. So the thing is, they think that's how we love. No, it doesn't work like that. For a man, it's like a woman who loves her kids. If you go and say, which kid do you love the most? So I love them all the same. Okay, so for a man, it's like that. We don't love the way you love. That's why you think when a man gets a second wife, you think he doesn't love me anymore. There's something wrong with me. Wallahi, brothers that I know who practice polygamy, most of them, when it doesn't go right, things go sour, they go back to the first wife. Why? Because they never had a problem with her in the first place. The point is this: they go back to the first wife. The point is, if he didn't like you, he would have left you. There's a talaq. Bye bye. I want to move on. I'm not happy with you. That is not the case. We don't work the way you work.
That's true.
We're not wired the way you're wired.
Thank you very much. Let's hear maybe one more.
Please.
You're dealing with a shadow, an actual human being, and to come with that level of emotional maturity, intelligence, and just ihsan.
Respect and consideration.
That was my last point.
That was your last point. Your final thought.
My final point, I think, in the cases of polygamy, the woman who finds herself in that position, like in the case of a person who's on the fence about divorce from a monogamous marriage, I think the advice tends to be that we need to maintain the institution. We need to keep the house intact, even if it's going to be at the expense of the individuals who comprise it. And I think that's a dangerous bit of advice.
Wallahi, sister, you should come off social media immediately. Wallahi, let me tell you something.
She's a homewrecker.
Because of this, no, let me tell you something. Because of this advice, I swear to God, sister, with all due respect, wallahi, I don't know if you're going through something. May Allah make it easy on you. And I'm not trying to, and I'm not trying to belittle you here, but I'm saying this.
She's
okay, I'm not being condescending. Let me tell you something. For you to come and say something so sacred like the family unit, yeah. What does she say? Basically, what she's saying in a nutshell, this family unit that you have is so sacred, yeah. But don't put up with it. You know the feminist narrative? No. Yeah, Miss Independent. Destroy it. Yeah, and basically she's saying destroy it.
Put yourself before your children.
Put yourself before your children. This is a selfish attitude.
Of course it is. It's
a selfish attitude.
Gender
and guess
egoism.
what? It is so selfish that the mother who's been advised by this sister is basically being told that even if it comes at the cost of your children, destroy it. And what you destroy, what's waiting for you better on the other side? Let's put it. Do you really think? No, one second.
Economic deprivation.
Sisters think.
No, honestly.
Let me tell you something. Okay, let me tell you something. Sisters think that the husband that practices polygamy, that when they divorce, they're going to go to another person that's not polygamous. I'll repeat again. Every man is polygamous. This is what the sisters don't understand. They think there is a man out there,
totally right.
The knight in shining armor, the white knight in shining armor, okay, the Muslim in a thobe, should we say, with a horse, okay, is waiting for them. No, you're gonna get the same issue in a different way. If he fears you, a'udhu billah, he's gonna go and do it behind your back in the wrong way. Or guess what? If he fears Allah, he's gonna do it in the right way. Or you know what? If he fears Allah more, he's gonna hide it, because he knows if it tells you, you're gonna cause chaos, havoc. Yeah. So all I'm going to say is to sister, I think Sumaya, her name is Sumaya?
Yeah.
Sister Sumaya, fear Allah, with all due respect, please do not ever talk about this topic, period. Yeah? For you to come and give this advice. Look, you can come and say, you know what, it wasn't for me. Or whatever, or I know somebody went through, it was very, like, whatever it may be. Wallahi, you guys didn't talk about how it was done in the wrong way. You did a full-out attack, a lethal attack, a nuclear warhead on polygamy itself, and you turned it into a horror movie. It's worse than Paranormal Activity. And you are here coming and saying, basically, the family,
house intact.
The intact house, destroy it. I'm so sorry, wallahi, and 200,000 people watch this. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A sister who is involved in polygamy, her husband is gone married again, wallahi, let me tell you something, God knows how many marriages you destroyed.
But stop doing the spiritual
abuse. God knows how many.
You're doing too much spiritual abuse.
I'm going to do more. Let them get ready for it. Okay, let me tell you something. Yeah? Okay, good.
Stop
I don't
using
care.
the God card.
Call it whatever you like. Okay.
Stop it, the God card.
Call it whatever you like. Subhanallah. Yeah. The point is this. Okay. Do not talk about these matters. Okay, please do not talk about these matters. You don't know how delicate the family unit is, and you don't know how fragile our sisters are. They've already been attacked by feminists. On top of that, we have our sisters in hijabs giving advice of the intact family unit, selfish, destroy it.
Bro, imagine this. Like, I'm so sorry to say.
La ilaha illallah.
Let me say something.
And you know what? One second. What did they say in the video? They said we don't mind brothers coming. Open discussion. I would like to invite Sister Sumaya. I would like to invite all the sisters that were on there to come to have a discussion, a civilized discussion on this topic at hand. If you genuinely care about the ummah, which we have no doubt you do, please, I will invite you. I'm doing a little news show, having a little discussion about gender roles, etc. I would like to invite our sisters to come. Me, myself, you, and maybe Brother Zishan. Let's talk about this as your brothers and sisters, and let's give a solution, a correct way of practicing polygamy. I invite our sisters. That's my final thing.
I think what you said there is absolutely right. I mean, one book that's pretty easy to read about the problems of a single parent household is The Boy Crisis. For example, by Warren Farron. Now, this particular book, I don't have time to enumerate the kind of statistics that he puts in this book about how much a single mother puts a child in a disadvantage from an educational perspective. It increases their chances
and
of criminal...
And it's not her fault, by the way. We're not blaming the mother.
Yeah, I get you. Of course not.
We're saying that's what's the consequences.
Of course. I'm saying that, criminal delinquency, educational levels, all these kinds of things, you're putting them in a disadvantaged position. Before, in our history, in our illustrious history, our mothers and fathers used to fight wars for us. They used to... No, honestly, they used to... The traumas that they actually went through... quite frankly,
Yes.
were something that would put us all to shame,
Exactly.
including me and you, all of us to shame.
Exactly.
And now we're talking about a marriage setup as if it is, a cancer or an AIDS or something like that, which will destroy you.
Yeah.
And there's no way, there is no way of you being able to adapt to it.
No, let me give you some figures, yeah? Kids from single mother homes. 63% of all youth suicides, single mother homes. 90% of homelessness and runaway children from single mother homes. 85% of behavioral disorders, single mother homes. 80% of rapists with anger issues, single mother homes. 71% of high school dropouts, single mother homes. 80% of all youth in prison, single mother homes. I'll give a disclaimer. I'm not saying the mothers are at blame. I'm saying it's from single mother homes. So you're basically saying that's what's intact?
Yeah.
Destroy it. Yeah, and imagine if they all had their fathers, and by the way, this can be the father's fault. Maybe the father left and went. I'm not saying it's the mother.
Runaway fathers, yeah.
Yes, what I'm saying is the selfish decision of the father or the mother is coming at the consequences of a ripple effect of the children. You're literally throwing your children into the fire.
It's
Throw your child
gender
into the fire.
It is gender egoism.
Yes.
It's micro-feminism. Gender is selfishness.
Yes.
It's gender egoism. I would never give advice to anyone the way that she has right now.
Never.
And it's at the end of the day, it's individualism.
Yes.
It is egoism and individualism. It's selfish. You're teaching them self. You're not teaching them Islam. You're not teaching them sabr. So instead of sabr,
yes.
وَالَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِمْ, instead of تَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ,
Yes.
instead of all of these verses in the Quran,
Nothing.
in the beginning
Not
of
once.
the ayah, or the Quran, all the way to the end,
Yes.
not these ayahs.
Yes.
Let's instead think about counseling. Maybe a secular counselor,
yes.
because there's a giggle culture.
Yes.
Let's think about breaking the house.
Yeah.
Let's not think about a family intact.
Yes.
This is diabolical.
Bro, you know what's very important? Just to finish on this, I'm so sorry, yeah? Listen, look, sisters, you listen to that, yeah? Was there one Qur'an and Sunnah there?
She didn't mention one ayah.
Okay, 1 second. That shows me it's
One
it's
hadith.
nothing but coming from the aql.
Not even aql, from her emotions. It
No
only
problem.
was
No
from aql.
no problem.
Please break it from the aql.
No problem. Yeah. If somebody goes to a person of knowledge and says my husband got married again, and if that person speaks from the Quran, the ayahs that you quoted, wallahi, at least it would aid the woman and say, you know what, patience, calling her to truth. Yes, calling her to stuff to maintain the family unit, etc. We're not talking about a husband that comes and punches you in the face, doesn't look after you, doesn't provide.
Exactly.
We're talking about a husband who's doing all these things, but decided to get married again. Yeah, and he's still with you. He hasn't divorced. You're saying you're my wife. I love you. And he got married again. And because of this, he is vilified, turned into a vampire, Dracula, sucking blood, a horror movie. Look at the level they went to. Not a single Qur'an ayah. But when you go to the Kitab of Allah, look how Allah consults you. And look how Allah tells you to be patient. Yeah? And tells you what is better. Wallahi, this is the reason why any kind of man-made law or woman-made law or any kind of opinions that is spewed out with no Quran and Sunnah, run a mile. I'm telling you, run a mile. That's what I have to say.
And I think that's a good place to end. And I think I will end as well with a very famous quote I saw from Viktor Frankl, which he wrote a book called The Meaning of Life. Very powerful, wallahi. And he introduced something called logotherapy, by the way, which is, it focuses on meaning and the why behind, and it's a really powerful way from a religious perspective, how someone can attach themselves to meaning. And just like Nietzsche said, if you have a why, almost any how is possible. If a woman is going through this, look, first of all, we don't want to diminish from what you're going through. It's a very difficult situation. It really is, yeah? However, if there's a why and your why is strong, you will be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Almost any how is possible. You'll be able to get through this polygamy. You'll do it for your children. You'll do it for your family. You'll do it for yourself. And you will get rewarded in the hereafter as well. But something which Viktor Frankl himself said, which I think was very interesting, is, and I think it applies in these situations, in the situation of a woman who's the mother is not very happy with the person who she married, and the woman, the first wife, in both situations and many situations like it, is that when you can no longer change a situation, then you have to try and change yourself. And at the end of the day, if for me as an individual, if I was going through something difficult in life, something uncomfortable, I would want my people around me to give me words which will increase my resilience, my toughness, my strength. I'm sorry to say, but if you are being charged with all of these kinds of micro-feministic phrases, trauma, bullying, suicide, using the word suicide, using all kinds of words, How is that meant to engender empowerment? How is that meant to engender strength and toughness and resilience within Muslim people? It's not even negative. It's un-Islamic. It's shameful. It's humiliating, and it should be repented for. And I don't care. And I expect maybe some people say, "Well, they're very upset. They're very." I don't. To be honest, I don't care what anyone says. You have no right to come out and affect children.
Yes.
Young children with your poisonous and misinformed advice. You should repent, you should ask for forgiveness, and you should delete those videos. And if you delete your videos, maybe most of them, because all of them have this kind of tone with very limited ayat from the Qur'an, which you claim to believe, and the hadith, which you also claim to believe, and start afresh with the Qur'an and Sunnah in front of you. Otherwise, you are creating mischief in the land. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us that when the son of Adam dies, all of his good deeds are interrupted. They are finished, except for three things: sadaqatun jariyah, a continuous charity, and a beneficial knowledge, and also a righteous offspring that makes dua for him. Your brothers and sisters in Islam Net from Norway are establishing a masjid, a da'wah center, and fulfilling a great portion of this hadith on your behalf. Establishing a masjid to convey the message of Islam is one of the best deeds a Muslim can do. Whenever someone prays there, whenever someone gives shahada in the masjid, whenever someone learns something in the masjid, yes, that will be something that you'll have on your scale. So give generously, and Allah Azza wa Jal will give you even more.